Jess Walter, who was an author last year and is our MC tonight, whose previous board experience, interestingly enough, revolved around basketball, where he helped kind of organize the Spokane Hoop Fest, a term I believe I've gotten correct. I believe that many of you, I'm certainly here tonight because Jess entranced me last year, and I am so glad he's back to act as Master of Ceremonies. So without further ado, Jess, are you here? Yes.
Hi, thanks for having me back. I made the drive over from Spokane again without any problem. I want to thank Ted and Liv and Kathy and the staff of Humanities Washington for putting on this great event and giving authors a venue. This really is a wonderful organization, a wonderful event, and it's for a wonderful cause, Motheread, Fatheread. I grew up in the kind of family that didn't have books around. We had, I think if you looked up an Ottoman Empire in our World Book encyclopedias, it would have been in the present tense. That's how old the books were in our house. And school wasn't much better, to be quite honest. My high school was more like a bong and nunchuck factory. And so it was really on my own as a college student that I felt like I really discovered reading. And to give to give young children a chance to read, to give parents a chance to relate with their kids that way is an amazing gift. And it's not the kind of charity that maybe you think of as having instant effect, but it really does. It really is the kind of long-term investment that I think we all need to support. So I would beg you to donate. I'm not supposed to read anything based on the theme, Nighthawks, but I couldn't help writing something, so I'm going to read it. It's not exactly a story, it's more of an epic poem that I wrote, and I just want to tell you a little bit about how it came about. My last novel, The Zero, was a dark satire about our irrational reaction to the terrorist attacks of September 11th, at least from my vantage. And it was a little bit of a difficult book, and I knew that, and yet it got a little bit of acclaim, and so groups all over the country were reading it, and I'm listed in the phone book, so I would get these weird phone calls in the middle of the day. And one day I got a call from a woman, and I answered. I said, hello, and she said, is this Jess Walter? And I said, it is. And she said, I'm 86 years old, and I'm in a book club, and my city is reading your book, and I don't understand a word of it. And I said, I'm sorry, maybe I can help you. And she said, well, what's it about? And I said, well, it's a dark satire. It's sort of allegorical. Brian Remy is a disoriented character, and his disorientation is meant to stand in for all of our disorientation. I feel as if we had a kind of break from reality, a sort of an almost manic, depressive, schizophrenic break after the attacks of September 11th that caused us to act in these bizarre ways. And so Remy, that's what his behavior sort of represents in the book. There was a pause on the other end, and she said, I didn't get a word of that either. And she said, but I've got a theory. And I said, what's your theory? And she said, well, I think your book is about 7-Eleven. I paused for a second. And I said, do you mean 9/11? And she said, what did I say? And I said, you said 7-Eleven. And she said, oh, what's the difference? And I said, well, 9/11 is the date of a terrorist attack, and 7-Eleven is a convenience store. And she said, oh, well, which of your books would I like? But I hung up the phone, and I had this deep desire to write an epic poem about 7-Eleven. And since it sort of fit the theme of Nighthawks, I did. This is called Another 7-Eleven. They course narrow, bright aisles with dry-mouthed intent. The baked, fried, wasted, hammered, bent, drunk, buzzed, messed up, and the just merely stoned, all hunting munchies. Twitchy hands clutching wadded bills they spill on the counter before you and poor half-littered Rajiv, who was probably a neurosurgeon back in Mumbai because he's impeccable with change. Plastic bagging Hostess snowballs, Little Debbies and spiced corn nuts, M&Ms with almonds, a power bar, an energy drink. No, wait, dude, I need chocolate milk and pork rinds and ooh, Cool Ranch Doritos. 2 laughing bangers lug 40s, one yelling, "Chulo," on his cell. "Don't do shit till we get there, yo." And you're finally at the front of the line when from the Slurpee machine comes a squeal of hydroponic laughter from a pierced, slack-jawed hoodie. Rajiv nods wearily at you, irregular. Every few weeks you have to get late-night milk for the kids, for their Crispix, in the morning before school. The milk is like $9 a gallon. Your old mother was confused by the attacks in New York. She asked once, "Do you think there will be another 7-Eleven?" You said no. She died not long after that. "Nice slippers, yo," says one of the bangers as you come outside with your milk, and he offers you a hit on what they now call a blunt, a little glass pipe made to look like a cigarette, and you wave it off but sort of wish you hadn't. It's been years and years, but you didn't just spring from your relaxed waste suburbia with a Stoli martini. You had your moments. Back in college, they used to call you Old Iron Lung because you sucked home joints packed with that Acapulco Red without a single cough as Pink Floyd thrummed through the dorm floor. Oh, and they're not technically slippers, but a casual loafer you got at the Nordstrom rack with a gift certificate after you returned a cardigan that made you look like your father. But you don't tell the stoned kid that. You just smile and say no thanks. And that's when his partner comes out, and now there are 3 of you standing in a triangle as if waiting for a tea time. And "Hey," says the one with the blunt, "dude here can give us a ride to the party." Wait, you think, but the second guy has already said thanks and looked down at your hands. "Damn, man, why you buy your milk here? Shit's like $9 a gallon. We can only fear something we're already afraid of. Look it up. All fear is the memory of something already feared. At least my mother never lived to see another 7-Eleven. "This is a nice ride. These seats heated? What kind of car is this? A Lexus? No shit, how much that set you back?" You pretend not to remember that it was 56. The bangers' names are Skeet and Jamie. "Jamie, you ask? Not sure you heard right." "Yeah, no shit, huh, right?" says Skeet. "Dude's got like a chick's name, don't he?" "I don't care," Jamie says, and he offers you the blunt again, and you take it this time, just to fill your lungs a little, and maybe to make sure they haven't done anything new with the pot. Oh, but they have. Shit's like 300 an ounce now. "Oh, definitely," Jamie explains. "In a lab in British Columbia, this Nobel Prize dude Frankenstein that shit, and you think it must be true because a couple of old dorm floor size hits later, it's like you're in the witness protection program, a new identity and waves of paranoia, and nothing looks familiar anymore." And that's when you tell Jamie and Skeet how you've been out of work for 6 weeks, how you took a voluntary buyout exactly 6 weeks ago to avoid being laid off, how you got 14 weeks of severance, how that leaves 8 weeks because 14 minus 6 is 8. How last week it was 9, how next week it will be 7, but right now, at this very moment, with Skeet in the back seat and Jamie in front, now as of this very moment, and you hold the smoke in your chest as if you can keep this moment forever, it's 8 weeks. In the next 8 weeks, you'll be up every morning at this time, watching the Nikkei fall on CNN and worrying over want ads, filling out applications and making sure your references still have the positions you've listed on your resume. And now you've gone and added another stress, because if you do somehow get an interview, they're going to make you take a drug test, yells Skeet from the back seat. And he laughs, and you laugh, and he laughs, and you stop laughing, but he keeps laughing. Don't freak, Slippers, Jamie says. There's a million ways to beat that shit. There's a special diet you can do. Pecans, yells Skeet from the back seat. And some pills, Jamie adds. And my cousin Marshall, he wore a catheter connected to a plastic baggie with some other dude's piss in it. So now he screens luggage at the airport, and he's up for supervisor with the NTSA and a security clearance. I shit you not, dude. He's got someone who warns him about random tests, and he keeps that catheter in his locker. In the rearview mirror, you see Skeet is drinking directly out of your milk jug. Hey, that was like $9 a gallon. Trust me, though, you do not want to dwell on the guy screening bags, pissing someone else's piss as he watches for bombs and helps keep us safe from the dudes planning another 7-Eleven.